Hi, Chaz. Thank you so much for being here for the 22nd Happiness Happens Month of the Society of Happy People. So we just met because I was happily stalking your LinkedIn profile, and I could just tell you're this really optimistic guy from the way you write a lot of your posts and your stories, and you're out helping people, and you're making the world a better place. So I reached out to you, and you were kind enough to just participate in Happiness Happens Month. So I want to thank you for that.
Sure thing.
I've asked you to share a story because professionally you're like I say, you're helping a lot of people. And when I read some of your stuff, you've had some really interesting professional experiences. So I know at some point you crossed the path with satisfaction, like you did something that made you feel satisfied and happy. So I've asked you to share a story about that.
Yeah. So, like Mick Jagger saying this, I'm dating myself by talking about Mick Jagger, but he had the song. It's like, I can't get no satisfaction. And he said at the time when he wrote the song, if I'm still singing this when I'm 40, I'm going to kill myself. And so, he's 71. But many times we pursue something, and we pursue something with the hopes that it's going to give us some type of satisfaction. And so I used to, going to some of my posts, because I've had a wide array of experiences, just because of some real stupid choices that I've made in my life. I always tied satisfaction or happiness or joy to the things I was getting or not getting. And as you know, that's empty, because I think, oh, once I get this, and a lot of people still live like this. Most people, I'll be this. And then you get there, it's like, wow, this is really empty. And so satisfied came at a point when it took me about 50 years to get here, because I focused on all the things that I didn't have and all the things that I had to do. Seeking after, trying to get, you're not going to get joy going after the things that you want. Okay. Joy appears when you realize all that you have and all that you get to do. From just switching it from not having to all that I have, to having to do this, to get to do this. I mean, this may sound like a funny story, a funny little thing that I do on a regular basis. I brush my dog's teeth like every other day. And it's like, I got to brush her teeth today. It's like, no, I get to, because if she didn't have teeth, she'd be older. And, my kids, they work for me in my business, but she's the one that's with me all the time now, because they're grown and out of the house and whatnot. So she's important to me. And so I get to brush her teeth. And it's just the paradigm shift of focusing on all that I had and all that I get to do. And this really came home when I was in 2020. I got extremely sick, and I was like, panicked, because here I have a business and I don't have the systems and processes set up to run the business without me. And so I'm like, okay, God, I'm just going to trust you, because I was having to sleep 12, 13 hours a day, and I could only work 4 to 5 hours a day. So I woke up each and every day, and this is getting to your question, and started to focus on all that I had and all that I got to do. And that's where satisfaction, it's like, hey, when you try to get satisfaction out of accomplishing something, sure, there's some satisfaction, but it's temporal. When you have satisfaction just being grateful, then that's eternal. And so I would wake up feeling like, I was in bed for like 4 months, and it was only through the biohacks, and the way I started my day was through gratitude. I would focus on, I can see, I can hear, I can taste, I can feel, I can smell. I was like, what's my other sense? I had all 5 senses. I had shelter, I had food, I had clean water. And so that just literally changed the chemicals in my brain to I could focus on being grateful instead of how I felt, because I was so sick. And so that's where the satisfaction and your happiness quotient, however you score that, that's where I get satisfaction, is understanding all that I have and get to do. And that's gratitude. That's how I would label that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and gratitude is actually one of our 31 types of happiness. So,
So did I answer the wrong one? And it's the wrong question?
You covered a bunch. No, because I think they go, I think I mean, it's different for everybody, because the first principle of the book is happiness is personal. So it's about how you define something. But I think satisfaction a lot of times is a byproduct of, say, being grateful, or a byproduct even of an accomplishment, or just sometimes I'm satisfied. Like for you, you probably were just satisfied when you were waking up, because you're like, oh my stars, I'm waking up, and there's a satisfaction that went with that helped you move through the day if you were feeling as bad as you're describing. So satisfaction can be, again, it's super personal, and I think yours is combined with gratitude.
Yep, it is. It definitely is.
So I also, so we're gonna go to the second question. I also see, I'm just making sure I'm saying it what I wrote you. I see you're connected and you help a lot of people. So you can tell us a little bit about what your company is, but I know a lot of your company is about helping people. And how does that contribute to your happiness?
Yeah, so that goes to my why. And for many years, I lived a successful career lie because I was always good or the best in sales, because that's what I worked in 10 different industries. But I didn't like what I was selling. And so I remember I was reading, I think it was a book by, and I had done some side hustles and some failures in business, one in particular, which I won't go into depth. I was just trying to meet a need in the marketplace at first. And so that doesn't bring the satisfaction. So I got to the place, I read a book by Craig Groeschel, great leadership guy. He has a great podcast called Chazon, which is Hebrew for God's passion for your life. It's spelled Chaz, like my name, OWN, like Oprah's network. I believe it's OWN. So, and it's about discovering God's passion for your life. So as I was going through the book, I was going through all sorts of different things, and I realized in my career, a boss would always come to me and say, could you help Sally? Could you help John? Could you help Bob? Could you help Sue with their sales? And when I would help them with their sales, I was getting a lot more satisfaction out of that. And so I became a national sales manager, and I was serving the salespeople there. And I realized my why is to help people see their potential and help them realize it. Nothing gives me more professional joy than seeing my clients get that aha moment, execute, and get results, stepping into the potential. And the reason why that's important in my life, I never thought I had any potential. And a lot of times our why goes to a weakness sometimes in the past. And also out of that weakness and not thinking I had potential, it gave me like a weird superpower in that I can see potential in other people that most people can't. And so when I talk to a potential client and I helping them grow their business, I see that they have a good skill set in delivering their offer, but where they're lacking is Pamela, in understanding how to identify, attract, and onboard new clients in a predictable way. And so that's what I help them do. And then when I get like a text message, like one was from Isabel. One day she was in the airport. She took a picture and she said, thank you for realizing my dreams. She wanted to get a certain amount of sales, to get a certain amount of growth so she can move to pursue her dream. And she was able to do that. So it's those type of things that give me, and I say most professional joy, because I mean, my kids, seeing them grow and develop it as adults gives me, just personal joy. I get personal joy out of serving my clients too, but that's the number one professional joy.
I love that, because you're helping others, and helpful is also a type of happiness. So you just have all sorts of types of happiness in your life.
I
So
do.
our final question, yes, and our final question is, in my book, is the first principle is happiness is personal. And I think we live in this world of groupthink, competitive happiness. And so oftentimes we just quit paying attention to our own personal happinesses. So what would be one of you identified your family, but what would be one of your just personal happiness, might not impact your significant other, might not impact your kids or your buddies or your colleagues, just something that you're like, 95% go to, this will bring a smile to my face, happiness.
Yeah. So it's, let me just backtrack just a few steps, because you talk about the competitiveness and, groupthink and whatnot. And this will go to the answer of your question. I remember I had a client who went through working with me and went through my experience. I'm looking for something different than programs, because who wants to go through another program? So through my experience, and he changed his offer and started doing exactly what I was doing. And so I'm like, this is where things really started to shift for me, at least one area of my life. And I reached out to him, and he got really defensive because I saw one of his posts. And I said, hey, I appreciate the compliment, because that's the ultimate compliment, right? When someone copies you. I said, this was a really brilliant guy, and I knew he was going to go places. Let's just stay in contact with one another, and we'll benefit and our clients will benefit. And so that's my thought process with competitiveness. That's what I think. And going back to the question, so I could fully answer it, can you say that one more time?
Well, it's just, what's one of your happinesses personal? So like, it doesn't necessarily.
Yeah. Okay. So this is
around you happy, but
yeah.
It makes
I got
you
it.
happy. But
I got it.
Make around you happy.
I got it. So the thing that I do is every morning and every evening, I go to this vast field with my dog, Louie, my CFO, by the way, Chief Fun Officer. She literally will come here. She's laying right here.
Is she there?
Yeah. She literally will come in here and bark at me like every 4 hours because she wants to play. And one of the things I learned when I was sick is that it's essential to take breaks, because you can breathe and all these different things. That's why I call her my CFO, Chief Fun Officer. But with her, I go into this field in the morning. I do exercise. Exercise is a big one for me. And a lot of times, like last night, it was at sunset, and I just take in the beauty of God's creation. And sometimes I'm there worshiping, sometimes I'm there singing, sometimes I'm there on my knees crying. And it's just a place to get away, to escape, that is not too far away, but it's just something that it's kind of leaving all, technology, all stimulation, and just taking in my surroundings. And I know nature is a big thing. I was reading a scientific study on that, how it's helpful to get in that. So that would be the answer to your question.
I love that, because
my going to my special place.
And we all need our special place. As kids, we had a tree, right? Or something, and that was in nature. So again, Chas, thank you so much for being part of our Happiness Happens month, and thanks for sharing your positivity and helping make the world a brighter and happier, can I say, place.
Yeah, I tell you what, it's, I was sending out a bunch of messages on LinkedIn, Pamela, and, a lot of people on LinkedIn, it's like they connect and they, they're selling, they're pitching, which is a bad way to go about using LinkedIn to grow your business. That's a subject for another day. I just sent out a bunch of messages. I'm actually going through my connections. I have over 30,000 followers. I'm going through all the ones I'm connected with, and I'm sending a message, something along the lines of, I appreciate being my connection. I just want you to know we all face struggles and challenges, especially as business owners. Those were the people that I'm connected with. I just want you to know you can do it. You've got this. Keep moving forward. It's all about progress, not perfection. So sending that out, I've got a lot of cool responses, because I wasn't sending it out trying to sell anybody. I was actually looking to serve. And so back to helping people and serving them, whether I get paid or not get paid, that's what I really enjoy to do. And I really appreciate our conversation, and congratulations again on the book.
Well, again, thank you so much for being here. And I love that idea. I may have to do that for Happiness Happens Month, send out a little happy for people.
There you go.
And just,
Awesome.
I don't have as many people to send it to as you do, but I have
Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's just about making progress.
happy progress. Thank you so much.
Yep. Thank you.